The Wigan Warriors enter the Dragon's Den, where Catalan haven't been beaten since the end of February. Leeds were the last side to win at the stade Gilbert Brutus. Since then, the Dragons have won 8 in a row, so it promises to be a tough challenge for Shaun Wane's Warriors. The team news coming in from Perpignan. No Bosch or Lopini-Pia again for Catalan, and Damien Cardas replaces Daryl Millard on the wing. Millard injured. Louis Anderson returns in place of Julien Busquets. So Morgan Ascaré has 10 tries in the last 9 games, 17 in all in Super League this year. Very much a danger man. He's at full-back. And it's Oldfield, Pomeroy, Vincent Dupont, Cardas, Leon Price and Sam Williams, who's been impressive since joining from St George Illawarra Dragons. And then the forward, Jeff Lima, will be looking forward to this one. He lines up against his old club. He was the 2-try hero of Wigan's 2011 Challenge Cup final win against Leeds. And Elliot Whitehead is the leading try-scoring forward in Super League with 13. So it's Elima, Ian Henderson, Lima, Zeb Tyre, Whitehead, and Jason Bateri is the captain at loose forward. And on the bench, Louis Anderson returns, Gregory Muniz, Eloy Pellissier and Benjamin Garcia. The coach is Laurent Fresineau. Now then, Wigan weakened, still no Green, Macilorum or Flower, but Sean O'Loughlin returns to lead the side. There is no Gil Dudson. He's suspended for 3 games for his shoulder charge on Josh Drinkwater against London last weekend. So Tony Clubb comes into the side to replace him. Matty Bowen is at full-back. Josh Charnley back in the side in great form. Dan Sargentson, Gelling, Joe Burgess, George Williams and Matty Smith. And in the forwards, Dominic Crosby, Sam Powell, Tony Clubb at prop in place of the suspended Gil Dudson, John Bateman, Liam Farrell and Sean O'Loughlin captains the side. Scott Taylor, Jack Hughes, Greg Burke and Eddie Pettiborn on the bench. Coach is Shaun Wane. Tony Ray alongside me in the studio ahead of a game that at the start of this season, when Catalan were floundering, you wouldn't have fancied them. The form they are in at the moment, 8 in a row unbeaten at home and putting 42 points to nil on St Helens in recent weeks. They're a different proposition now.
They are. It's an interesting game for them. It's one they're in a position they can dominate this one. We're going to slight favourites with the bookie, but a lot of pundits, myself included, feel like Catalan are ahead of this one. I largely feel that because they've got their spine, what we call the spine in rugby league, intact. Ascaré at the back, Leon Price at 6. Sam Williams is going to be interesting. Really looking forward to see what he can do with the team here. Ian Henderson's back at hooker and Pellissier is coming off the bench. Despite the fact there's a couple of forwards missing, those guys should be able to steer them, and they have to be able to steer them through a game like this to do well here. Wigan on the other end a little bit disjointed there, except this man, Sean O'Loughlin's back. He complements the fact that they're missing Blake Green and Macilorum. But I'd have suggested that the Aces are really, for stability, you'd think they're favoured and leaning the way towards Catalan. And these guys are up against it. But it's exactly the sort of challenge that they've raised, as we saw at the Magic weekend. They raised themselves for these sorts of challenges.
One of the Catalan's strong suits is their pack. Wigan having to draft Tony Clubb into the front row. I mean, he's adapted to life as a second row pretty well, but as a prop, you know him well.
Yeah, he can do that job. There's some doubts over his ability to do it. I think he's a very good prop. I think there he is there. I think that's his position. I think he can dominate there. He's brought there really to play a prop. So he's done a wonderful job of doing that. But these guys are missing a couple as well. Bosquet's out, Payer's out, so they're missing a couple of front rows. I said if they can get their playmakers making good decisions to get these guys on the front foot, then Ian Henderson talking there in the background will be a real key. If he can really marshal his forwards and put them in good positions, I just feel down there in the form they're in. Their last 2 games they haven't been fantastic. They got beaten, an honourable victory away to Leeds, and they were pretty unconvincing against Bradford, got over the line late. They need a performance here at home with their spine intact. They need to aim up.
Good crowd. It's always a big occasion, this one, the visit of the Catalan Dragons. Wigan fans, young and old, there in Perpignan. Good turnout from them, including 5-month-old Holly Ratcliffe, who has joined mum and dad, got her first passport so she can go and watch the Cherry and Whites take on the Dragons, and so have Stuart Cummins, Barry McDermott, Terry O'Connor and Rod Studd. Your commentary team for this one, the referee, James Child.
Stay on side!
Wigan beat Catalan Dragons at home in March due to a last-minute try from Matty Bowen. It was the 6th defeat in 7 games for the Dragons, that they were in the relegation zone. People were talking about them falling through the trap door and out of Super League. How times have changed. As Bill said, 8 consecutive wins at the Stade Gilbert Brutus. And pressure on the Wigan Warriors, given the results last night in Super League, where wins for Castleford, Leeds Rhinos and St Helens. The Warriors dropped to 4th, and if they want to keep pace with the trio above them, they need to win here in the south of France. And that, Terry, as we've seen in the last 3 months or so, has been far from easy for Super League clubs.
No, it's been very difficult. And you talk about the home form, Rod, of Catalan winning 8 of the last 8 home games. They scored an average of 32 points in those games. So when you turn up to play in the South France, you know that the home team are going to score some points, but you need to make sure that you turn up with the right attitude to defend, but as well try and play that expansive rugby.
Matty Smith launches long, the first kick of the match. It's too long, it goes dead, and the Dragons will get the 20-metre restart. They've devoured everything in their path at home. They've enjoyed some whopping wins. Latterly against St Helens, 42-0. They had to work hard, though, against Hull in their last home game. We're hanging on a little bit towards the end as they just scrambled home against the Black and Whites.
Well, 5 of the last seven games in Super League, they've only been decided by 4 points. So, but they're finding ways of winning games early on in the season. They started off terribly, didn't they, losing the first opening 5 games, but they seem to have got their act together. The likes of Zeb Taylor, who's got the ball now, he's been probably their standout player.
That has been knocked on, says referee James Child.
And I think it's in the middle where the advantage is with the Catalan side. I've been looking at the ages and the experience of both front rows. Elima Henderson and Jeff Lima, all 31 years of age. We'll just take another look at a possible rip from Sam Powell, but
no, it goes to get that.
Yeah,
it goes to offload.
He's trying to offload that, and then you look at Wigan's pack, front row, Crosby, Powell, and Tony Clubb is the oldest player at 27. Previous two are 22 and 23, so the younger generation, the younger front rowers will need to use their agility, enthusiasm. As Josh Charlie packing down in the front row.
The world has gone mad, Barry.
Holy moly.
Josh Charlie returned for the last 4 games and has scored an absolutely astonishing 10 tries in 4 matches to take his tally to the season for 12 in 8 games, and is, well, still a shout to retain his top try scorer title. He got 34 last year, which is 8 clear of his nearest rival, Joel Monaghan of the Wolves.
Well, they look... Well, is this a penalty? The first penalty of the game. Is the ball stripped from Bateman? The referee, James Child, says yes, it is. Josh Charlie scores a lot of tries because Wigan favour playing to this right edge. It used to be Sam Tompkins last year, and Matty Bowen creates that sweeping line round the back and obviously creates space. And Josh Charlie, when he gets the ball, well, there could only be one winner if it's a one-on-one.
The penalty is knocked into touch, and Wigan launched, well, they could have launched their first attack, but they're stuck on the launch pad. The captain, Sean O'Loughlin, was rested last week. That'll be a free play, and it'll be back to the scrum. O'Loughlin, who was rested for the romp against the London Broncos last weekend, spilling the ball.
Well, it's a game of dropsies at the minute. Joe Burgess just thwarts that offload, and you see Sean O'Loughlin. Well, mark that down. That's a once-in-a-season occurrence. Sean O'Loughlin making a mistake.
Well,
great player, very important.
No question, he was on the Man of Steel shortlist last year, but it has been another injury hit, and some would say injury-prone season for the Wigan captain, as the Dragons get a penalty from the scrum. Just 9 appearances in Super League this season for O'Loughlin, and he's getting a reputation which he doesn't really want, Barry, which is that he's only ending up playing in big games. Last season, we recall, it was the Cup final followed by the Grand Final. And he hasn't been able to get a run of games in, has he?
Well, good players are missed, and it's a sign of a good player when everybody says, where's Sean O'Loughlin? And unfortunately for Sean O'Loughlin, the way that he plays the game, he does pick up those knocks and those bumps, but he's in this game today, and I'm sure he's going to play a big part in it.
I was joking with him earlier in the season that his nickname should be Big Game Sean O'Loughlin, but the Dragons are the big game hunters tonight, Terry.
And what was his reply to you, Rod?
Laughed politely. Here come the Dragons then. First attack of the match for Laurent Fresneu's side, and Leon Price, who won't be in the south of France next season. He'll be in East Yorkshire, swapping the south of France for Hull. Henderson, he's had a spell out of the side with a broken wrist. Missed a dozen games this season. We'll certainly be glad to have him back. Sam Williams spins out a pass, and Big Ben Pomeroy takes 3 Wigan Warriors down with him. Liam Farrell trying to wrestle him to the ground, and they're having all manner of jobs stopping him. Dan Sargentson eventually makes something of a tackle, but they've got some momentum forward here on the last tackle, Catalan. Well, they had until the ball was dropped.
Well, that's a bad mistake from Catalan. I was just going to make the point about young Sam Williams, number 34 for the Catalan Dragons. I watched him live a couple of weeks ago when Catalan Dragons were unlucky to lose at Headingley. He played a massive part in that game. Didn't deserve to be on the losing side, really, but we'll get the first chance to watch him, take a look at his contribution. He's certainly a classy player.
Yeah, we mentioned Hull, who've really made a meal of getting the right half-backs in. That's a knock-on.
That's what you call pressure, Rod.
Yeah, just going to say, I mean, look at the half-backs Catalan have brought in the Super League era. Stacey Jones, Michael Dobson, Scott Giroux. He's got a tough act to follow, but they have been able to identify and bring in some top-quality halves.
Yeah, they have, and that's exactly what they need. They need someone who's going to guide them around. We look at Catalan, and we've always known them since they come into Super League in 2006 of playing that physical brand of rugby. But what comes off the back of that, and hopefully Lauren Fraser will have Sam Williams, because Leon Price will be a big loss. 17 years in Super League. That's huge experience, isn't it?
Oh, look at that on the scrum, a bit of pushing and shoving. Tony Clubb might not be a natural front rower, but he's just letting Jeff Lima know he's certainly not going to let himself be taken advantage of.
Well, James Child is now going to have a word. He's making the point that we've only been playing 5 minutes and already we're getting this kind of carry-on. So Lima and Clubb getting a warning. Yet to see the first try. Incidentally, Morgan Escaré has scored the first try in 4 of the last 5 Catalan Dragon home games, and there he goes again. And the ball is ripped free. It bobbles around off the back of Sargentson, and it's picked up by Wigan. It's picked up by Burgess, and the ball is just thrown away almost literally on the first tackle.
Well, six minutes. I don't think we've had a completed set of 6 yet. So both sides a little bit untidy in the opening exchanges. And Tez mentioned that 2006 landmark game, the first game in Super League for the Catalan club, was against Wigan, and guess who won? The Catalan Dragons, 38 points to 30.
Oh, that is a knock-on, and as Barry alluded to earlier, we still haven't seen a completed set. Sam Powell this time, the culprit. Liam Farrell wants a word, Tony Clubb wants a word. They all want a word, but the word and the final word from James Child will be a knock-on Catalan scrum feed.
So there's a mistake from Liam Farrell. There's a penalty a couple of minutes ago in good field position, in good defensive field position for Wigan. They need to make sure that they come up the next time they get a hold of the ball. It needs to be a positive set.
Well, Wigan will be grateful, I would imagine, of an evening kickoff in southwest France this evening. We've seen a lot of games on Sky Sports this season from the Stade Gilbert Brutus in absolutely baking, searing heat in the afternoon. It's a little cooler this evening, which will certainly be to Wigan's advantage, you would feel. Henderson is in at dummy half. See if we can get a completed set first and foremost. Zeptire charging down this left-hand channel. John Bateman, who tops Wigan's tackling stats, is the man handling him in the company of Anthony Gelling. Slow ball to Leon Price, tries to up the tempo a little bit. Williams and Escaré and Pomeroy just about held on to the football.
What Catalan have been good at when they get down here is the last play, the kick cross-field to the wingers. So whether that's to Oldfield or Cardas, we've got to watch out for that, because they've scored some amazing tries at home this year through that play.
Cardas is making his first appearance since way back in April. He's only played 3 games this season for the Dragons. It's aimed towards him, and a climbing highest was Josh Charnley acrobatically to put the ball out of the sky. Good stuff from the England winger.
Tremendous take under pressure, and I would imagine Sean Wayne and his coaching staff have been speaking to Josh Charnley, saying, look, it's coming, get ready, you've got to be on your mettle, you've got to catch those, and he did a confident catch to start the match.
He had a long absence with a knee injury, but what a comeback from Charnley. He's mentioned 10 tries in 4 games. That is some going from the flyer on the right flank for the Warriors. A deep kick. Escaré goes scuttling back. He'll collect just inside his in-goal area. Now he sees a purple wall in front of him. Good luck. Goes into 3 of them.
Well, Matty Smith on the 3rd play, just let's say, let's get out of here. Let's come up with a good kick chase here, put pressure on Morgan Escaré, and just make sure that we've got our line intact, because he's one of the most dangerous and probably the find of 2013, Morgan Escaré.
Smart play though from Matty Smith. He realised that neither side has got a foothold in this game yet. Let's just belt it down the other end of the field, notch up that first set of 6, that first completed set.
So Escaré dummy hard there. Escaré 17 tries in Super League this season. He's dropped one off the pace at the top of the try charts now with a try for Tommy Menkinson last evening for St Helens in their win over Bradford Bulls. He has 18. Escaré and Joel Monaghan have 17. Monaghan, well, if selected against London tomorrow at home, might fancy his chances of adding to the try tally. That kick goes straight down the throat of Matthew Bowen. Oh, good stuff from Matty Bowen. This could be another spectacular run from the former Australian international fullback. In the end, he's dragged down on the halfway line, but he scored the match-winning try when the sides last met. He scored 2 in that match. In point of fact, that was fantastic, and that is a penalty also.
Well, that's what you call a kick return. First of all, a very good take. Wigan just playing this game to a high tempo. They get the penalty, kick it long. Good field position, Rod.
Well, I tell you what, Terry, they almost bit off more than they could chew with that penalty, didn't they? For a moment, I thought that was going to go dead in goal, which would have been the most cardinal of cardinal sins, but it was perfect. And
that's just a good kick.
Well, it was perfect. It was perfect. He got it absolutely right, and they get a full set from the 10-metre line. Oh, then it's going to be a try. It's going to be a walk-in for Tony Clubb, and he slams the ball down and says, get in there. And Wigan have the lead.
Well, intelligent play. The Catalan players were looking at the ball going out the back, but it's just a little simple twos play at the line. A big hole opens up. You can see the ball, first of all, it goes behind Sean O'Loughlin. And then is it Sam Powell or George Williams, sorry, who passes the ball, just a simple twos play, big prop forward, running onto the ball, showing support, and just a gaping hole, and Bettieri gets it all wrong. He's looking for that wide ball. He doesn't anticipate the big prop forward getting it and scoring the opening try of this game.
We talked about how important Sean O'Loughlin is. Matty Smith is just as important. He provided that platform, a beautiful kick, and we'll look at the execution of the play at the line. Tony Clubb, they're difficult passes, although it looks simple, they're difficult passes to catch them, Rod.
Smith with the conversion here, this should be a gimme, but mentioned too, Barry, for the wonderful run from Matty Bowen that cut the Dragons apart and got to the halfway line, and obviously off the back of that they got the penalty and Smith kicked it into touch, but Bowen must take some credit there for launching the attack.
Absolutely. We'll have a look at the play again. There we go. It looks simple, and as I say, sometimes you're almost trying to second guess where the ball is going to go. Just look at Jeff Lima gets it wrong.
Well, you've got Jeff Lima that goes in, you've got Bettieri that's staying out, and that's where the gap opens up, and that's a good play from Tony Clubb. And as Barry says, it's one of those tough balls to catch that, because you're under pressure so close to the line.
And suffice to say that I think Tony Clubb enjoyed that. He really banged that down. One of the off-season captures by the Wigan Warriors from the London Broncos. Dan Sargentson also making the trip north.
And it's a great point that Tony Ray made. 13s or loose forwards, players that play 13, they're often just a middle unit player anyway, so the actual role and responsibility that he will have today won't be vastly different. Cart the ball up, be strong when you're running with it, and be twice as strong when you're defending, as we see Dom Crosby drop the ball.
Yeah, Crosby spills the ball. Gil Dodson suspended for Wigan tonight after a shoulder charge against the London Broncos last weekend, and they're missing him from their front row unit. Bettieri wrestled to the ground by Sam Powell. The Dragons faithful starting to get a little bit agitated. They're not used to seeing their side behind in recent weeks. As we mentioned, they lost their first game at home against Leeds, but since then they've blown everything away that's come across the channel to take on the Catalan Dragons.
There's a lot of character, Rod. We talk about the last 2 weeks. They had a narrow victory against Bradford when they weren't quite at the races, and a narrow loss at Leeds when they should have won. So they're very much battle-hardened, the Dragons.
This is Zeb Tyre. Wigan's record this season away from home, nothing to get too excited about. 5 wins and 4 losses in 9 games. Well, that's another lost ball, and Ian Henderson has got in a muddle and a mix-up with Zeb Tyre. And again, well, there's 3 or 4 occasions they've had attacking position and possession and not utilised it.
Well, 2 ex-Bradford players then, John Bateman and Henderson, would have locked down and packed down many times together. Notched that down, 1 to Bateman.
John Bateman made his debut, actually, for Bradford on this very ground in April 2011. A lot of water has gone under the bridge for both the Bradford Bulls and for John Bateman since then, that's for sure. The Bulls seemingly doomed to relegation out of the Super League. Here is Joe Burgess, who's still Wigan's top try scorer only just now. He's got 13. He's been manhandled off the field of play. Gang tackle, and Burgess just manhandled off the paddock.
Well, that's great defence. Trying to give the ball, trying to give Joe Burgess early ball, but 4 defenders turn up. He's a big, powerful young winger, Joe Burgess. That's great defence.
Brilliant. Well, he actually got that ball, didn't he? 10 metres in from the touchline and was just taken for a tango off the sideline.
Well, that does wonders for the team's confidence. You saw everybody slapping each other's backs. They know that that was a team play. And after a mistake, the best thing to do, the thing that your coach wants you to do, is back it up with good defence.
Breezy evening in the south of France. And one wonders how much of a factor the wind will be. Haven't actually seen any completed sets to get to a high bomb and see if a fullback can feel things up in the night sky. Maybe we will from this set as Jeff Lima takes it forward. Ian Henderson playing the ball. O'Loughlin, well, he can't stop the offload. Zeb Tyre, he goes on a rampaging run. He offloads, brilliantly handled by the flying Escaré. Escaré trying to do Matty Bowen round the outside, stumbling towards the line. Play on the call and he's in. Morgan Escaré gets his customary try for the Catalan Dragons. It's his 18th of the Super League season. He wants to go to the video referee here, James Child. Let's see what they're looking for. Let's get the expert view from Stuart Cummings. What was wrong with that, potentially, Stuart?
Well, I think he said he wanted to check on touch as it came through, just as he was tackled. I don't think there's a problem, but obviously the touch was obscured as he went through. You can see there's no problem. He wasn't tackled. That'll be a try.
Brilliant.
Well, he is absolutely sensational with ball in hand. We've debated the issue a time or two during coverage of Catalan Dragons this season. Who's the best fullback in the competition? And in my money, you're looking at him.
He's an outstanding talent, Rob.
He's the best in the competition, never mind anybody else.
Yep. Totally agree with you. I think he's absolutely brilliant. But what about the pass selection from Zeb Tyre? He breaks through and he knows that as soon as he gets his arm free, that left-hand offload is going back inside to Morgan Escaré, and he knows he's got the space just on the outside. He hugs that touchline. He jumps up because he knows that there's pressure coming from Wigan. Brilliant offload though, Barry.
I've talked about it a few times. Steve Deakin, who works with the Catalan club, looking after their reserve team, has told me a couple of times that Morgan Escaré knows the instincts, knows exactly the habits of the players that can offload the ball. Zeb Tyre, we've seen that left-handed offload onto the right a couple of times already this season.
Williams misses. And that's only his second miss. I think 12 from 13 before that. You mentioned that game at Leeds, Barry, where his kicking, he was almost kicking off the stand roof in that match, wasn't he?
Yeah, let's have another look at this. Wonderful in flight, Morgan Escaré. And I think as an offloader, can just about remember being an offloader, not almost looking sometimes, because you know that the player who's in support gives you that call. You know he's good enough to be in the right place at the right time, and certainly Zeb Tyre and Morgan Escaré, they've got a formidable partnership in that department.
Well, Escaré, as I mentioned, has been the darling of first try scorer punters this season, but didn't get the first try tonight. We got the first try for the Catalan Dragons, and it is his 18th of the season in the Super League and his 11th in the last 10 games in the Super League. It's a phenomenal record.
Well, is this the first time Jeff Lima's played against Wigan as well? He won the Lance Todd in 2011. He scored 2 tries for them at Wembley. He's well and truly pumped up for this game.
The Salford Red Devils attempting to make it consecutive victories, leading Hull FC 12-0, which would, well, it would keep the flame flickering at the AJ Bell Stadium in terms of the playoff places. It would hold them to within 4 points of the Widnes Vikings if they were to be successful. It would also put the London Broncos at the point of no return, because if Salford win tonight and London lose to the Warrington Wolves, then London will bid farewell to Super League. The Dragons still trail, 6-4 then, the Warriors looking for another victory over the Dragons. They've got a pretty good record, particularly in playoff matches. They've played the Dragons 3 times in playoff games and beaten them every time. Matty Bowen almost fumbled that, picked it up, launches a long ball to Burgess.
Well, we're nearly into the second quarter of this game now, and I'm really interested to see Eddie Pettibone when he comes on, the number 22 for Wigan. Been missing for a good few weeks. We want to make up, and I think, as I say, I think the dominance in the middle of the park, we've already seen evidence of that. Lima and Henderson dominating their opponents.
Well, that's what Wigan have got some size, isn't it, Barry? You've got Scott Taylor, Jack Hughes, Greg Burke, Eddie Pettibone, 3 props and a back row. So wants to play it very physical, Sean Wayne, the Wigan coach.
Well, Sean Wayne might have wanted that first quarter to get out of the way, then we'll almost go at it with a different tactic. We'll wait and see.
George Williams, lovely sidestep, another sidestep, great offer. O'Loughlin now, the hands were good, but Burgess wasn't where O'Loughlin needed him to be or wanted him to be, but there was some slick handling, slick sidestepping, particularly from Williams to start with. Good stuff until the final ball from O'Loughlin.
Well, just a step behind Joe Burgess. Dan Sargentson switches off. Just keep pushing up, playing through the line.
O'Loughlin is entitled to expect Burgess to be there, isn't he?
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a wonderful piece of skill from both players, Williams and O'Loughlin, and the 2 players that didn't complete their assignment just popped off. Simple as that.
It's just about not preempting plays and just playing what you see. And Sean O'Loughlin and George Williams saw something on the left edge there, and they've got to make sure that if you're playing out there in Dan Sargentson and Joe Burgess, you keep pushing up and you keep switched on.
An opportunity spurned by the Wigan Warriors. They came into this round 20, as the highest scoring team in the competition. They've lost that crown, at least temporarily, to the Casper Tigers, who have 9 points more than them in the points for column at the moment. Wigan may reclaim that position, that honour. That's a penalty.
No, you've got to sort the ruck out. You've got to be quicker.
And, too much messing around at the ruck, at the play the ball.
Do you not think that the good defence should be rewarded there, Stuart? That's a dominant tackle on Lima.
It's a dominant tackle, but it goes back on, and to be fair, James Child has had about 3 words with Wigan about coming out of the tackle quicker. On that one, he's tackled him, he's called him to move. Now, if he hasn't seen it as dominant, he's called him to move. If he doesn't do it,
him on his back.
Even so, he's called him to move. If he's misread it, then he's still got the call to move. The player's got to get out of there.
I think Wigan are hard done by, but...
Release!
From the penalty, the Catalan Dragons are on the attack again. They trail 6-4. Club for Wigan, Escaré for the Dragons. Henderson rummaging around on the floor.
And that was poor from Catalan. If Ian Henderson gets out from dummy half, he's trying to lock up the markers. Somebody needs to make sure that they're there in support for him.
Lima passing the ball. This is Dupont. Dupont is dangerous. And he takes 3 Wigan Warriors with him, and had he been able to get the ball out to the left wing, it would have been a stroll in to Damien Cardas. As it is, he couldn't release the ball, couldn't offload. Leon Price does so. Last tackle then, as Jason Battieri will eventually get to his feet for a very laborious play the ball. Price floats the kick towards the corner flag. It's dropped, it's collected by Whitehead, the lethal Whitehead. And that will be his 14th try of the Super League season. He is the top try-scoring forward in the competition. He scores so many tries from the kick. He is one of the best kick claimers in the comp, and he proves it again.
Well, we talk about pass selection. What about kick selection from Leon Price? No pressure. The ball goes into the corner. Burgess thinks that he's got it, and then all of a sudden the ball comes down into Whitehead's hand. You've got to credit Oldfield for actually getting up and just making it a contest, putting pressure on Joe Burgess. He's looking at Oldfield, he's looking at the ball, he spills the ball and it goes straight into Elliot Whitehead's path.
But even in his time at Bradford, he scored so many tries from all sorts of different kicks, be they grubbers, be they bombs, all sorts. He has been the master of that.
If you put yourself in the frame, Rod, if you put yourself in the general vicinity, you have a good chance of picking up them scraps. And he's a great player, and I've said before, if you were picking an international team today and put him in the back row, he's that good. His work rate, his toughness, his skill, his speed, he's just a all-round outstanding player.
He scored the match-winning try at Bradford last weekend. It came 4 minutes from the end. It was a priceless try that won them the 2 points there also.
It looks like he's enjoying his rugby, doesn't he? I think this is the best form of his life. We know he's a very good player. We know he's played very well for Bradford, but I think since he's come down to the south of France, he looks a very settled player, very accomplished, and he's scoring a lot of points, which shows that he's doing things right.
Well, we noticed Sam Williams, like a golfer preparing an iron shot, was testing the wind, and I tell you what, he's got it absolutely spot on from that far flank, and the Dragons now lead by 10 points to 6.
Well, the kicking game out of hand and off the tee is very impressive at the minute. Oldfield does enough, gets in the eye line of Joe Burgess, and he's in the right place at the right time. Elliot Whitehead, eyes open, hands out. His teammates are absolutely delighted. Apart from that Tony Club glitch on their own goal line, they've been pretty good in the opening 25.
Well, it's been a really good run. We mentioned the defeat at the DW Stadium in March when they lost Catalan. That was 6 defeats in their first 7 games. Since then, they've only lost 2 of the next 12 to move, well, firstly into the playoff places and now on the march up the table. They're up to 7th and, well, they could go a whole lot higher yet.
When your hooker runs from dummy half like Ian Henderson has been doing in this game, it shows that you're starting to win that little battle. Your forwards are running hard, they're landing on the front, they're getting up, they're springing up, playing the ball very quickly.
If Wigan are beaten here, Catalan will move within 3 points of them in the table, and you'd have got long odds against that on that winter's night in March at the DW when Catalan lost again in the last minute. This has been an extraordinary transformation. In fact, at one point during the season, Laurent Fresnier was rumoured to be having 2 games to save his job. The first of those was against Bradford, and they wiped the floor with the Bulls, and they then got a draw at Widnes. Well, since then, he's now been given a new contract. A few months has made a big difference.
Well, it's incredible how things turn around in sport. As we've said on warm-up, as we've said many times in this commentary, to lose the first 5 games, and they didn't just lose them, they were absolutely annihilated. They looked terrible in everything that they did. The stats weren't very good. They're just simple losses, the simple tries that they were conceding. But obviously now they seem to have turned it around and they look a different side.
Well, no team will be looking forward to coming over to France, over to Catalan, be it in the league or the playoffs. So you've really got to be on your mettle.
Of course, to get a home tie in the play. Oh, they're pushing in the scrum. What is happening here? Well, it was like Back to the Future there, Barry. It was, my mind drifted back to the 1970s for a moment.
Your what? Your mind? Your mind is a marshmallow, Rod.
I don't think James Child had ever seen anything like it.
No.
No, well, he's blown for a penalty at the scrum. None of that pushing nonsense. Hull trail 13-0 now in the game at the AJ Bell.
Well, Elliot Whitehead not backing down to Pettibone, is he?
He's in the middle of it, Pettibone. He's come on, I reckon his instructions are right. You get stuck in, you mix it up.
Is it still legal to push at a scrum, Stuart, by the way?
Of course it's legal. Always been legal. I think he's penalising them for pushing before the ball went in. I think that's what that was about.
Dearie me. Dear, oh dear. Penalty to Wigan, 24.5 minutes gone at the Stade Gilbert Brutus. The Warriors trail 10-6. Record in the south of France, 4 wins in 10 trips, a draw and 5 losses.
Do you know, I love players like that. You've got Eddie Pettibone that's lining up Elliot Whitehead in the scrum. They're eyeball to eyeball. They get a penalty, and where does Eddie Pettibone go? Straight to Elliot Whitehead.
Leading the charge. Only club at the first try of the night since then. A brace for the Dragons from Escaré and Whitehead. But now they're on the defensive as we move into the final 15 minutes of the first period here. Cracking battle between the 7th place Dragons and the 4th place Warriors. They move it to that left-hand side. They think they may have something down there. Dan Sargentson tried to go through a gap. It closed very quickly. Williams is the man they're running at. The halfback, the Australian halfback. Now O'Loughlin gets his hands on the ball and finds Smith, and now Bowen. And Bowen comes into the line and breaks away, and Matt Bowen scores. Matt Bowen goes in. We mentioned the try scored right at the death in the first meeting between the clubs that won the game. That won't win the match, but it could put the Warriors back in front with the kick to come.
Rod, I think they'll go left to try and get at Sam Williams, but then with a big shift coming right, as I said earlier, they're really dangerous out here, whether it be Matty Bowen, Gelling or Josh Charnley. There's 3 players there that when they get the ball in the hand, you don't know what's going to happen. And when Matty Bowen just carries the ball in 2 hands, that's enough to put Zeb Taylor off and Leon Price. They're expecting him to pass that ball.
Well, there's the same number as defenders as there is attackers when Matty Bowen gets that ball, and sometimes you just look at that particular player and Wigan do it better than anybody in the league, and you just say, fair dues, that was good stuff.
Warriors faithful that have made the trip down to southwest France enjoyed that, and well they might. So did Matty Bowen. It's his 9th Super League try this season. He had 3 in the Challenge Cup also. 32-year-old Australian fullback, the former North Queensland Cowboy, the former Queensland State of Origin man.
12:39.
Did you see that, Rod? Paul Deakin, magnificent halfback in his time, on the coaching staff at the Wigan club, just having a little word in the ear of George Williams, giving a bit of advice, nice tips. It's great to have a bloke like that on your sideline, especially with some youth and some inexperience like George Williams has got.
Matty Smith, his 3rd season at the Wigan Warriors. Much travelled halfback found at home at the DW Stadium. Out of the match in last season's Challenge Cup win, and strokes over the conversion. And Wigan are back in front in this battle by 12 points to 10.
I remember Sean Wayne after round one when they were beaten at home by Huddersfield talking about repetition. We need to keep running these same lines, and these are the same lines that he's on about. When players leave clubs, you still want to keep playing the same way. Matty Bowen's gone into Wigan, and he was criticised early on in his Wigan career. I think he's been one of the standout players in the last 10 rounds.
Well, he was always going to have a difficult job, wasn't he? Because he was coming in to replace Sam Tompkins. He was the darling of the Wigan fans, and was the standout performer in the competition. So anybody that's coming in to replace Tompkins was going to have a tough task.
Of course, he was on a hiding to nothing, but I think he's come in and he's added an awful lot. He's a very good, you talk to anyone in the NRL and they'll say he's a very good professional. He comes in and he wants to play, and you can tell by the way that he's playing and performing.
Tompkins, by most reports, had his best game for the New Zealand Warriors today as they absolutely shellacked the Parramatta Eels. Here his old club are back in front. Thanks to Matty Bowen's try, an excellent try it was. We already saw one big break, big bust from the fullback earlier in the game. Here's O'Loughlin, who was involved in that last try for the Warriors. Powell in a dummy half, and Matty Smith. It would have been a 40-20, but he's not going to get anywhere near that. But they get the full set back, so it's broken nicely for Wigan.
That will really suit the Wigan club. It with 3 or 4 really tough carries, really hard yards. Chose to kick that ball. It was charged down and more position and more possession.
They did trial that the tackle count would continue, but they decided that wasn't a very good idea. But so the Dragons penalised for getting up in the face of Matty Smith.
Was that an obstruction?
No, not according to the referee, it wasn't.
He didn't go behind him, so he cut inside.
Let's play on. And it's Liam Farrell taking it up. Plays the ball. Matty Smith. This is a little bit flat, it's a little bit pedestrian, but John Bateman keeps moving forward for the Warriors. Powell, one of a number of young players who've really started to cement their position in the team with all these injuries. That's Spilt, he'll get another bite at it, he'll go backwards, so it's a play on, and Oldfield will do just that, but he's going to run into a unwelcoming committee, which included Eddie Pettiborn and Sam Powell. But the Dragons take it away from their own line. Good contest, this.
It is. Who's going to hold the nerve?
Well, now look at this.
Wow, that's a great beard, isn't
now that's reminiscent of the beard once sported by the Liverpool and Everton defender Abel Xavier, who sported a dyed blonde beard for many years. Well, remember.
You've got to back yourself with a beard like that, haven't you?
Superb facial adornment. Here he goes. Elwar Pelissier, so distinct. Even without the beard, he was distinctive with that those socks rolled down, wasn't he? He's got that very distinctive appearance, Elwar Pelissier, and one of the best hookers in the competition, and really a man, when you're bringing him off the bench, he can do damage.
He can. Because when he comes off the bench, it's 10 minutes to go before half-time, and that's when the big lads in the middle channel will start getting tired, so he'll be looking for any of those Wigan forwards, getting back, slow retreaters, he's going to be going at them.
It just changes the rhythm of the game. Whenever you've got 2 different types of hookers, Catalan have got a real warrior, a real warhorse, as we just see a bit of a fumble.
Well, Anthony Gelling threw the ball wildly. Zeb Tyre knocked on, but James Child said the first one, one can only presume from that.
I think he's saying that just
Wigan
Chandler
knocked on afterwards, yeah. Chandler.
You see the offload. I don't know what Gelling's thinking. He's offloading to Becky, the physio, by the looks of it.
Well, he was a lucky boy there, Anthony Gelling, because Tyre should have landed on that. And had he done so, then they would have been on the back foot very, very quickly.
I just want to finish my point then. When you've got a Henderson type of hooker who's very combative,
keep working hard, guys, listening to the release call.
Loves his defence, loves getting stuck into the opposition. When you bring Pelissier on, it just changes the rhythm of the game. Instead of players expecting a whack, expecting somebody to run into them, they've got Pelissier, who's just so unorthodox, you're almost grasping at thin air.
Two, Ben! Wait, go.
Powell to Pettiborn. Pettiborn goes bullocking over the halfway line, flings out an offload. It's obviously part of the game plan. They haven't gone to hand every time.
Get rid of the ball, but maybe not uncontrolled offloads.
I don't think it's in the game plan, this. I think this is players losing patience with the game plan, possibly.
Goodness. Matty Smith Well handled by Williams, dumps it off to Farrell. Farrell rumbles forward. Two Catalan Dragons take him down. This is the 5th play. This is Matty Bowen, prods a left-footed kick forward. Escaré can't dance away. Well, he did dance away from Burgess. He wasn't dancing anymore, though.
Good period for Wigan, this. Good period. Applying some pressure. Just look at that defensive line getting into the faces of the Catalan players. Michael Oldfield has knocked that ball on your right.
Well, it's a good place to turn the ball over.
A good defensive victory, I think, for Wigan, that. Thomas Bosch, I bet they wish he was in the crowd. On the team.
Even on the pitch.
You bet you wish he was in the crowd.
On the team.
He is in the crowd.
On the pitch. In the team. On the pitch. There he is. In the crowd.
Yeah,
as previously
I
stated.
think Barry there was referring to that Sam Williams probably wishes that Bosch was in the crowd, which he is. And Williams is playing in his position.
Heads in tight, Morgan, locking tight.
I'm glad you're listening, Rod.
Yeah. Thanks for the
I
input.
did enjoy that expression on your face then. I've never seen that before.
Move on, move on.
One, up now,
And Wigan are doing just that.
Wait,
They lead 12-10. Can they turn it into 18-10 just 7 minutes before half-time? Farrell. I mentioned Whitehead, top try scorer amongst forwards in the competition. Farrell not far behind. He's got a dozen in Super League. That's some return. Oh, that's flicked on superbly. It was flicked on by George Williams, and Sargentson was on the right page and almost turned it into 4 points. That was a delight, that sleight of hand from George Williams. Oh, that's not the pass that Eddie Pettingill wanted from Matty Smith. It had a red cross on it. He managed to get away from a couple of them, but he goes down. They've lost a little bit of ground here from that initial scrum win. Sean O'Loughlin spins out of a tackle, out of another tackle. Good offload to Powell, to Smith. Matty Smith does well. Here is John Bateman, and Bateman straightened it up. That is the 5th and final tackle in this sequence for the Wigan Warriors. This time they go wide from Smith. They go all the way out to Burgess to Sargentson, and Sargentson can't get there. And it is the turnover. Not the worst place to turn it over, but you would have expected a kick on the final play, maybe to even force another set.
Well, trapped in the corner, trying to play wide. They made a mistake last time they were in this sort of field position. But what about the defence again from Catalan? Pelissier coming in and just throwing all of his weight into that tackle.
And when you're in periods like this, Rod, your body is all tensed. As a runner of the ball, you know you're going to get a whack. If you're watching your teammate take it forward, you get that little voice in your mind saying, I should be next, get on board. And it's a difficult period if you're a Catalan player.
Neil Price plays the ball. Pelissier again in that scheming position at dummy half.
Release, Scott.
And they've used up the full quota of tackles. So the boot comes. Well, he was caught late there, possibly on his standing leg as well. It didn't look very pretty, that, at all.
Well, Louis Anderson played that ball, and the reason why, as Louis Anderson goes up to put a shot on Burgess, it's off a very slow play, the ball. So Farrell goes in on Sam Williams because it was just too slow.
But it's also a shoulder charge. You know, he's gone in with a shoulder. You know, whether it's late or not, it is a shoulder charge and probably should have been penalised.
Indeed.
Let it go.
Didn't look the best. But anyway, James Chow either didn't see it or saw it as legal. And Wigan play off. Bateman starting to make a few inroads in the last few minutes. The former Bradford Bull runs into another former Bradford Bull there, Leon Price. Matty Smith looking to switch play from right to left. The ball was just behind Williams, but he's made it into something, and Bowen has chimed into the line once more, having a very productive half here. Matty Bowen, Sargentson, the dancing feet that first alerted him to Super League clubs when he was at London. The whistle blows, and it will be a penalty for a ball steal.
What would you do here? Would you go for 2 points? 4.5 minutes to half-time?
No, keep the pressure on.
It doesn't matter what you do, Terry, because Wigan and Sean Wayne are running the ball. Not sure that the two would be particularly significant, especially when they've had all this weight of possession in the last 5 minutes. I think they'll fancy their chances of posting their third try of the match. And it would come in the final 4 minutes of the half. O'Loughlin, well, he delayed too long, and in the end he was put to the floor. Farrell's under pressure at dummy half. There was no dummy half for a moment or two there, just briefly for the Wigan Warriors, but in the end they've tidied things up and they've still got a couple of plays left in this sequence. Matty Smith gets it away. They've got an overlap here. They can get it wide. Gelling, and Charnley will dump that down. That's so easy for Josh Charnley, and it is his 11th try in 4.5 matches since his return from injury.
Well, and that's why they chose to run the ball instead of going for the 2 points. Again, it's this right edge. Is it Leon Price who shoots and he puts pressure on the men who're outside of him? Probably shot him because they were outnumbered. You can see him goes in, and then Vincent de Paul, well, he doesn't come up with anybody.
I don't think they were outnumbered, Tez. I think that the Leon Price reaction to that puts everybody under pressure. Not sure why Gellan didn't put the ball down on his own, but we can get the try.
Well, we have seen some spectacular acrobatic tries from wingers this season. We have seen length of the field tries from wingers this season. That was not one of them, but it doesn't matter. It's 4 points to Josh Charnley, who was in the right spot at the right time. For the simplest try he'll score, he just literally had to put the ball down, but it counts 4 and you've got to be there.
4 points and a possible 6, Rod, but we'll see if they were outnumbered. I think when Leon Price chose that line to go in, that put pressure on Oldfield, so we will just see what happens later on, but good play again from Wigan.
Matty Smith's toughest kick of the night. 2.5 minutes to go before the half-time siren. Smith looking to extend Wigan's lead beyond a converted try. Much maligned his goal kicking this season. But nothing wrong whatsoever with that. That is picture perfect from Matty Smith, and the Warriors are up by 8.
Well, Sean Wayne, when he gets his side into the change room, will say, the more time we spend in our opponent's half, the more time we spend, the more effort we put into our defence, the rewards will look like that. And Josh Charnley just simply has to catch the ball, put it down. Great service from Gellan.
Josh Charnley, incredibly, despite only having played, well, 8.5 games this season, is now on 13 tries and only 5 off the top of the try charts. And you could have any odds you wanted a month ago against Charnley, topping the try charts. When this game kicked off, he was down to 4-1, so that'll be even shorter now. 19-0 to the Salford Red Devils, and they are doing a job on Hull FC, who you would say are fading out of the playoff picture. The Red Devils would join them on 15 points, so it's been a torrid night for Hull FC. Torrid night here for the Dragons as Charnley breaks through again. He finds Bowen. He has got the legs to fend off Dupont, and they make it back-to-back tries. Bowen banks a brace, and Wigan go further clear, 22-10.
What a wonderful play. Matt Bowen comes from behind to catch that ball, create that overlap. A wonderful view from in front. Look at that. The Catalan defenders just don't see him, don't account for him. And he has enough guile. I don't think he quite has the speed, but just gives Dupont a bit of a shove. Wonderful stuff from Wigan.
Well, Bowen has been a thorn in the side of the Catalan Dragons. Bowen has got going tonight for Wigan. That's 2 tonight, 2 in the first meeting. And that puts him to 10 for the Super League season as the siren goes off, and it is a warning siren for the Catalan Dragons. Red alert, because in the closing stage of the first half they've gone from 12-10 adrift to 22-10 adrift, and it will be 24-10 at the break if Matty Smith can make it 4 from 4.
One Wigan play and they're on form like they are here. There's so much deception at the line. It's very difficult for some of the Catalan players to read that. Vincent de Paul sinks in, doesn't spot Matty Bowen out the back, which creates the space on the edge.
So can Matty Smith continue his 100% strike rate with the conversions? 2 tries for Bowen, 1 apiece for Clubb and Charnley. The Dragons replies from Escaré and Whitehead. Warriors looking to go back to the 3rd spot in Super League. They'll go above Castleford if they win. And they are on course at half-time, because that conversion from Matty Smith takes the teams into the dressing sheds with the Warriors 24-10 in front.
Fantastic first 40 minutes for the Wigan Warriors. Not many sides have done that to the Catalan Dragons at the start. Gilbert Brutus this season. But Matty Bowen jetting in for a couple of tries in that first half, which Wigan have just about dominated. They are in the box seat at half-time. Leeds, the last side to win in Perpignan, way back at the end of February. It looks as though the Wigan Warriors are on their way to ending the Dragons' winning streak. Join us after the break. Catalan, 8 in a row at home, 8 wins in a row, but they trail at half-time to the impressive Wigan Warriors. 24 points to 10, Wigan lead. Matty Bowen, star of that first half performance. And Catalan really have got to up the ante in the second half. 5 of their last 7 games have been decided by 4 points or less. If they're going to make it that close, they've got to get cracking. So our commentary team, led by Rod Studd.
Thanks, Bill. Wigan looking for their 150th away win in regular season matches tonight. And if they do win, they will join the Castleford Tigers on 28 points. Leeds have 29, St Helens have 30. Warrington expected to deal with London tomorrow would be on 28 if they win. So there could be a breakaway gang of 5 at the top, covered by 2 points in a furious fight for a top 4 finish. Who will end up 5th? The position that we used to call the coveted 5th spot, Terry, when Leeds won the Super League title from 5th 2 years running.
It's very close, Rod. It's very close. Teams that are clamouring to get in the top 8. Teams that are just clamouring for that top position as well. It's going to be an interesting opening 10 minutes in this second half, because I think Catalan need to get a grip of this game. If they want to go on and win this game and score 14 points, something needs to happen in the opening 10 minutes.
Well, they have got this impressive home record, although you could pick holes in the form a little bit, because St Helens they beat, but the other teams that were sent packing were all down the lower reaches of the table, and maybe they've met their match tonight with the Wigan Warriors, who have lost 2 of their last 3 games in the Super League, beat London, but before that defeated by Wakeford and by their bitter rivals St Helens. So need a little bit of a pick-me-up. And Matt Bowen picks himself up, plays the ball. Charnley chimes in with his customary try. Well, that looks a little bit...
Oh, could that be a penalty?
I think that's a bit of a grapple tackle.
That cannot be
legal.
I've seen one. Can it? I mean, you can't just go trying to garrote your opponent, Stuart, can you? I'm not aware that garroting is within the framework of the laws.
It's the grapple on the floor. I mean, it's cutting right across the windpipe, and it's going to be a bit painful. And
there's grapple and there's grapple.
Absolutely.
Well, there was a grapple on the Adam's apple, and no wonder he's down, because that was unpleasant, to be quite honest with you, and unnecessary.
That's just shocking. Do you know, you're 14 points behind. You're starting off the second half, and then you come up with a player like this.
I tell you what, it's a shocker.
Yeah. You hear these crusher tackles when you add pressure to the neck.
Yeah.
And we've seen a number of players that have been banned this season for players like that. There's just no need for that.
No, that
if you want to hurt Josh Charnley, get the ball and run at him as hard as you can. When he's got the ball and he's running at you, try and knock him into next week. Don't come up with something like that.
Well, that was Vincent Duport, and Josh Charnley, no wonder he's hurt. And, well, we'll see what action takes place. Could you be sent off for that, Stuart?
Well, absolutely. I mean, there was well, the directive was 2 years ago that any sort of grapple tackle, any form of foul play in that region with wrestling tactics is an automatic 10-minute sin bin. The referee still has the option to send a player off for that. That's as bad as I've seen.
It's horrible, isn't it? It's horrible. And see, I mean, to see Josh Charnley's neck bent, you know, it's just unpleasant.
Yeah, and those tackles, just to explain to everybody at home, they're designed to keep bloke with the ball motionless. He's supposed to be in that much discomfort or feel that much threat that he doesn't move. He just thinks about playing the ball, and quite rightly he's going to get spoken to by the referee.
Yeah, I mean, it is designed to keep him motionless, and this isn't intended in any way to be flippant, Barry, but you know, there's a possibility you can leave someone permanently motionless. You know, it's very seriously injured their neck with that kind of thing, and quite properly the yellow card comes out from James Charles.
Well, he's got 10 minutes, and you could hear that the referee James Charles saying he added pressure to the back of his neck. I think to the front of the neck as well.
Well, all around the neck. I think it was a fairly tight hold. But you know, the 10 minutes has been given, and you know, at least Wigan are going to get some reward for that. Well, the disciplinary committee, the match review panel, will look at that on Monday, and you would suggest that Monsieur Duport will be a spectator probably at the next couple of matches for the Catalan Dragons, as the whistle goes again for another penalty, and it's getting a little bit fruity now.
Well, there we go. do you know what? You can't just stand back. You've seen one of your teammates, the tackle before. He's been nearly knocked unconscious because of his windpipe being crushed, and then all of a sudden, the next play, you come up with a tackle like that.
Well, I'm only guessing here, but Laurent Fresinu has got his team in and said, look, we're being a bit soft here. We need to be more aggressive. Now, the Catalan players are directing that in completely the wrong direction. That's only the 8th penalty of the game, by the way, so certainly the first half with only 6 penalties. There wasn't any nastiness in it. I didn't see too much of it. No. We've had 2 penalties in just over 2 minutes, and they're both bad ones as well.
Yeah. That's the 6th penalty to Wigan, 2 to the Catalan Dragons. Barry rightly pointing out there's been 8, but look, we pay to see aggression. We want to see aggression, and you know, we want to see blokes running at each other hard. We do not want to see that.
100%. Yeah, it's a physical game. You're challenged by the people that you're playing against. And Gregory Muniz, he's not a dirty player, Gregory Muniz, and he ends up lifting it, playing up because of what Pelissier is doing up top. He's the man who's in control.
Well, there was a case there for Matty Smith just to say, well, we'll take 2 and slot it over and just give everyone a breather and cool things down. But Wigan content to take the charge to the Catalan Dragons. There could be some fairly feisty stuff going, and Pelissier has just gone in there and knocked the ball free, and that will be another penalty. That's 3 consecutive penalties in the space of 60 seconds, and now I think Sargentson it is who's down injured holding his knee.
Yeah, you're right. Physical play from Catalan. The ball goes to Sargentson. There's 3 players that just come clambering in. Pelissier again in the thick of it. They hit him with everything. They drive him back. He loses the ball, and a quick tap again from Wigan.
Bent him backwards as well when down.
Yeah.
Sargentson was on the floor. His knee was right underneath it. The temperature's right up now.
Well, the thermometer is about to blow. Farrell.
Great ball.
It could be a try for Sargentson. He's looking to squirm out of a tackle, but I tell you what, well, you two would love to run it in there. I certainly wouldn't in these seconds. I mean, this is just gone berserk. This is ludicrous. That's what it is. Another whistle, another penalty. That's 4 on the trot. And I think there could be another one going in the bin here in a minute for the Catalan Dragons.
I'm sorry, Rod.
Terry, but go on.
I'm sorry, Rod. You'll never win a game by playing like that. You can defend like that as long as you make sure that you're disciplined in your defence.
You've got it. Look,
you're losing all the composure.
This is the dictionary definition of losing the plot. You've got to be aggressive, but you've got to be aggressive within the confines of the laws of the game. Otherwise, you might as well not have any laws.
Well, look at that. There's 4 players. They are coming from everywhere. They're turning up for each other. They're talking. They're getting into the opposition. But there's a fine line between what you do and when you're defending.
Never mind the southwest of France. This is becoming like the Wild West. Stuart.
Well, Catalan.
Well, we've got a team warning now, and what James Charles needs to do is to just take a bit of time out of the game. You know, we're going again fairly quick, so we're going to have the same result. I mean,
well, couldn't Wigan? I mean, Wigan could. I mean, they don't need to, but they could take the time out of the game by taking a penalty pot shot at goal, couldn't they?
Why would you take 2 points and then have the ball down there your own try line when they're defending like that?
Well, fair enough. We'll see what happens. Williams. Of course, the way to cool it down is a try. Well, he had a target on his head there. Oh, well, that is another penalty.
Something else has got to happen here, Stuart. There's got to be 10 minutes into the sin bin. John Bateman's come flying in now.
Well, we haven't seen a barroom brawl of a game like this for some time, but this is like a saloon in the Wild West. There's guns being fired from everywhere, and that is late.
Well, it's the shot on the floor. Pomeroy gets Powell, and then all of a sudden, just have a little look. The little swing was it Garcia. What would you do, Stuart, if you were reffing? If you were in this 10 minutes?
Well, yeah, you've got to go 10 minutes because he's already put them on the warning. But he needs to speak to both team captains, take some steam, give them a bit of time apart, and let's get the game going again.
Well, he's saying that to Catalan right now, isn't he? That's the way to deal with it. 10 minutes in the sin bin, down to 11 men. Surely Wigan will score.
And somebody on the pitch, somebody in Catalan or Wigan's team has to take it upon themselves and say, look, it's not a case of who can relieve themselves the furthest. That's not what we're about. Play with composure. That's a nasty one, that. The half-back going down on the floor.
They could have 3 players. They could have 3 players up before the RFL judiciary this week.
Well, the Wigan players are having a pop at James Charles, but
there's another one.
In all honesty, there's not much more he can do here. Well, he can produce the red card, but he's produced 2 yellow, and you know, he's done his best here. He's warned them several times. He's put 2 of them off the pitch. and they're going to concede points here, you would think. Everything being equal, 13 against 11 with a full set a few metres from the line should result in 6 points to the Wigan Warriors, or at least 4. Pettybourne is wrestled to the ground. Remember, they're 2 men light here, Catalan. It's been an extraordinary start to this second half, absolutely astonishing. Everything has gone to pieces for the Catalan Dragons. The discipline has disappeared somewhere back into the changing rooms. That is the 4th play. Williams. Smith, oh, it's picked off. Well, it's knocked on. It's knocked on, and it'll be a 0 tackle, and it'll be another full set for Wigan. Oh, it spilled out, it popped out, it'll be a try. It will be a try to Scott Taylor. It had to be a try eventually, just simply a weight of numbers and weight of pressure, and Wigan go further in front in an extraordinary start to the second half.
Well, everything going on, absolutely everything. Lots to talk about, too much to watch. Actually, you spend your time watching what's going on and you miss things. An interception foiled. Gelling runs hard. And because of the contact, because of that initial bump on Escaré, we'll have a look at it here. Cardass drops the intercept. Watch the bump on Gelling. Strength gets that ball away, and Scott Taylor will probably calm everybody down with that 4, possibly 6 points. And I think that's what Paul Deakin's saying. Look, lads, put that to one side now. We've won that particular contest. Let's get back to playing rugby league.
Well, Wigan don't need to get involved, Barry, do they? No. They're a mile ahead on the scoreboard. They're 2 men ahead on the pitch. Why would they want to get involved in this kind of shenanigans?
Bravado and reputation and pride. And
if they're challenged, if rugby players are challenged, they'll stand up. They'll stand up to the opposition no matter what. If you don't stand up to the opposition when they're playing like that, you shouldn't play rugby. I'm sorry, Rod.
It was fairly difficult for them to stand up quite literally the way the Catalan Dragons were going about their business, because Wigan players were being left poleaxed all around the field with the various illegal manners and means from the Catalan Dragons. Anyway, Matty Smith looking to make it 5 from 5 and punish the Catalan Dragons with points. And that he does as they go 30 points to 10 in front. Stuart, the Catalan Dragons are almost refusing to be refereed at the moment, but there's not much that James Charles could have done. I mean, he's gone to his pocket twice. It's fair enough, isn't it?
Well, it's like you say, what else can he do? He's trying to get the message across to the team. He's ended up putting 2 of them in the sin bin. You know, if they don't get the message now, I'm afraid they're never going to get it.
6 minutes of chaos, 6 minutes of madness, and they've just gifted 6 points to Wigan. They'll never get back anywhere near Wigan on the scoreboard if they play like that. It's probably the same sort of form that they showed in the opening 5 rounds of Super League this season when they lost all of them.
Well, they're 20 points behind, and it could get worse, because bear in mind the 2 yellow blocks above the Catalan name indicate they're still playing with 11 men, and they will be for round about the next 7 or 8 minutes. So it could get even worse here for the Catalan Dragons. They could be taken to the cleaners here, because Wigan,
guys, just wait. Go.
With all their speed out wide, they are of course missing Josh Charnley, who disappeared from the action with that nasty tackle from Duport, for which he was the first of the sin binnings. So no Charnley, but it hasn't stopped them scoring. Oh, there's plenty of space here. They can really start to shift it with John Bateman. He's got Matty Bowen looking to ride shotgun on his shoulder and looking to say, give me the ball, I can get free here.
If that was sorry, Rod, if that was a cleaner pass, that would have been a try, that, wouldn't it?
I think it would. Liam Farrell trying the left-hand furrow, ploughing it to find Sargentson, and coming in is Burgess, and Burgess is in. Joe Burgess is going to score his 14th try of the Super League season. It's an absolute strolling for Joe Burgess. 13 against 11, that's a mismatch in anybody's language, and Burgess scores with a minimum of fuss.
Well, anybody that comes into the game of rugby league as a junior, as a young player, you're told by your coaches and your mentors you can hurt them on the scoreboard, and that's what Wigan are deciding to do now. Farrell releases the pass to Dan Sargentson, who's enveloped by a Catalan defender, and just plops the ball over the top to Joe Burgess. And hasn't this kid come on? I love watching him play. His instinct for the try line is second to none. Wonderful try from Wigan.
You've got to say that Pelissier is at fault here. You can see Pelissier, he goes in to try and knock Joe Burgess and then all of a sudden there's a big gap that's created. They've lost it, Rod.
They have absolutely lost it. They conceded a couple of tries in the last few minutes of the first half. Remember, it was 12-10 just 4 or 5 minutes before the half-time interval. Charlie made it 18-10 and Bowen second made it 24-10. But the second half, as Terry just said, they have totally lost it. They come out headhunting and doing all sorts of things that are way, way beyond the laws of the game. And since then, Taylor has scored and now Burgess has scored, and the game looks almost done at 36-10, with Wigan still, Terry, 2 men up.
Yeah, but Wigan have had all the field position, and the players have aimed up as well. They've really turned up for each other, because they know that even with 11 men, Catalan is still going to come up and they're going to try and force you to make errors. They're going to play it aggressive.
That's the 5th try that Wigan have scored since that Elliot Whitehead try in the first half. It seems a long, long time ago. It's almost a different Catalan side.
What are you thinking now, Barry? If you're a Catalan player, you've given all those penalties away, you've had 2 men sent to the sin bin, you're behind on the scoreboard.
It's very difficult. One of the dominant players, one of the senior players, has to get some normality, some understanding of just what hole they're in and what they need to do to get out of it.
Well, I think we need to give Wigan a lot of credit here, because in the words of Rudyard Kipling, if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs, and they have done that, haven't they? They've kept their head, they haven't got involved, they haven't started a punch-up, they've taken what James Child has put on board, they've taken the advantage of the 2 extra men, and they've just kept scoring tries, and full credit to them.
Well, at the end of the day, they've gone to the south of France, who've got brilliant form. They've only lost 1 all year at home. They've gone there to get 2 points, 2 valuable league points for that clamber to get to the top of the table. And you can't lose your head, you can't lose your head. But again, Rod, I'll say it again, you can't let people play that physical and not stand up to them.
Well, they have stood up in the right way, though, haven't they? That's the key. And here is Sean O'Loughlin. And Sean Wainside will be going back to 3rd in the Super League tonight, right behind the Leeds Rhinos and St Helens. And Burgess looks to offload. It's a wild one, but it's picked up by a man in purple on the last tackle. And it'll be Williams kicking into open space. It'll be a try if Gelling can get there. He can't quite, I don't think, get there, but the referee will want to go upstairs, I think, to the video referee. It seemed to me, with the naked eye, that Gelling ran out of real estate before he got the ball down.
Yeah, I'm with you, Rod.
Well, it certainly looked that way at first look. We'll see now. He gets the ball. Oh, it's actually a lot closer than we think.
I think it's close, but no cigar, isn't it, Stuart?
Well,
that's
difficult to see off that one.
I think he bobbles it anyway. He doesn't get, for me, he doesn't get much of a purchase on it.
No, that's no try.
Well, his knee's on the line anyway. If his hands are still on that ball there, his knee's on the line, so this should be no try.
But you're right, Stuart, it was a lot closer than we thought it was from the naked eye.
No, I call that 30 metres out, Rod.
Yeah, he did. Mind you, there's no confirmation he's actually called it right yet, Terry, is there?
Nope.
Well, Thierry
exactly right.
Alibert is the video referee.
Well, and he does have.
What was it, Louis Anderson a couple of weeks ago? Double movement, was it?
He does.
His knee's on the line, even if his hand is on that.
It just didn't look a try.
On the line.
At no stage did it look a try, and it is no try. You were starting to get a bit twitchy there, Stuart, weren't you? Because I could sense the concern in your voice, because you've called it no try, and then as the replays went on and on and on, I think you were starting to get a little bit twitchy.
Well, I do, and that comes with about 10 years of experience of having video referees working for you. The more they look at it, the more that you know that they're going to go against what you think it is.
Just back yourself, Stuart, and just call what you think it is.
Well, he was right, to be fair, wasn't he? Let's be fair. Right, Salford have won tonight. The Red Devils, 35-22 over Hull FC at the AJ Bell Stadium. So a win for Iestyn Harris's men. That's their 2nd consecutive victory. Vincent Dupont is back on. So Catalan down to 12, or up to 12, you would say, in this case. But in that period, while they were short-handed, they conceded 2 tries to Scott Taylor and Joe Burgess, and the second half has been a calamity for Catalan. Escaré, Dupont, there he is, back on the field. After that act of skullduggery on Josh Charnley, plays the ball to Tyre. Tyre runs strongly into what he thought was a gap. There's Charnley, who's back on after getting some treatment, pleased to say. Price hoists one high. It's going into no man's land near the posts, and claiming it very well and very calmly is Burgess, and then he's knocked down right on his own try line.
Tremendous composure. Joe Burgess pouches that ball like nothing's happened, knowing that 3 or 4 Catalan defenders are looking to knock his lights out.
Yeah, you wouldn't realise that just from looking at him that he's still only 19 and only made his first grade debut last August, Burgess, would you? He's been impressive.
Remember talking to him when we were walking behind the sticks when he was making his debut. He said that he was looking forward to it, but he couldn't sleep. He'd not been able to sleep for 2 days leading up to it, but he looks a very accomplished player now, doesn't he?
Yeah. Very quiet young man, isn't he? And but tremendously promising. Very tall for a winger as well, but certainly knows where the try line is. Catalan fans thought that was forward. Steady with Eddie. Steady with Eddie, and well, they've managed to get him to ground safely. But just for a moment, I thought there was going to be another lifting tackle, which would have been another penalty. And there's just for a moment, it thought it could turn ugly again. It might turn ugly in terms of the scoreboard here, because Hughes is dancing around. He's found Matty Smith, and Gelling has punted it. And a bouncing ball, it goes through the hands of Escaré, and eventually manages to field it uncomfortably.
We did say that the bench of Wigan's had a lot more quality, and we just saw Jack Hughes on it. He's one of those great players that can play as a centre, a winger if he's pushed. He can play in the middle, he can play as a fringe player, as a back rower, and just as accomplished as both. Catalan on the ball.
Elliot Whitehead, who bumped a couple of men off. I'll tell you what, from all we've seen now, we've actually only been playing 14 minutes in the second half. We seem to have had 40 minutes of action crammed into 14 minutes. Hello. Penalty to Catalan this time. The pushing and shoving starts again.
Eddie Pettibon goes in. It's a full-blooded challenge.
Oh, my word. Well, he has form, hasn't he, from the World Club Challenge?
Really, Rod?
Was it?
No, he's hit the ball, man.
There's nothing wrong with that, Rod.
Well,
he's hit the ball and it's gone up.
Yeah, and
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
I think Ian Henderson's making a bit too much of that.
Okay, fair enough. I was
Consider yourself told.
I was unaware that it was okay to punch someone in the head as long as he hit the ball first. My mistake.
He didn't punch anybody. Watch it again, Rod.
I think what Ian Henderson is doing pretty well is making sure that the Catalan crowd are going to get on James Charles' back, and they're certainly good at doing that, and he's handled it very well.
The second one was on the back of 5 penalties, mate, and a team warning. So I'm giving you every opportunity.
Well, Jason Battieri is in conversation with James Child about the 2 sin binnings, and the referee just explained, look, I gave you 4 or 5 warnings. It was on the back of 4 or 5 penalties, and difficult to argue with what James Child is saying. Even the most...
You leave him with nowhere to go.
Well, exactly. You would have to be
Get in line, guys.
the strongest of advocates in a courtroom to get the verdict there, because James Child seems to me to have done the right thing and pulled the yellow card out twice. Anyway, they'll be back to a full complement shortly, and they have now, for the first time in this second half, they're going to get a play the ball in the Wigan 20-metre area. Pomeroy comes onto the ball from Whitehead's pass. Ben Pomeroy. Henderson. Sam Williams involved. Olivia Ellimer taking the charge forward. And Hughes and Williams are there to wrestle him to the ground. And oh, well, it's another penalty. And, well, the arms are flailing, the fists are flying. Well, I tell you what, he was looking to hide behind Jack Hughes there, I think.
Well, I'm not
George
surprised
Williams.
George Williams has been hit flush by an open palm. I think Oliver Lehmann, I'm a big admirer of him. I think he's got some fabulous aspects of his game, but that's not one of them.
We've got the penalty, just leave it at that.
That
Just
could be
leave it.
reversed.
You've got the penalty.
On another day, that could be reversed for reacting.
Yes.
And as a former captain of the club, a captain of his country, he should know better.
Well, it's an attempt to intimidate, isn't it? Ellimer acting as the enforcer, but...
Intimidate the big ones, Rob.
Yes, well,
them are the rules.
Well, it's not easy to pick on the small ones, Barry, isn't it?
2 moves, Eddie.
26 points is the difference on the scoreboard, and that is what really matters.
Come on, quicker.
That's Williams. Williams to the line, almost up to the line. Sean O'Loughlin wraps him up.
Go 3.
Ellimer indeed lucky to escape further punishment. Here he is. Well, Williams can dish out some punishment of his own here by wrapping him up in the tackle. Ellimer wrestles himself free. Nothing really happening in this attack, and now it just bobbles and drifts away, and it just fizzled out. It was a dog's dinner of a set.
Well, they're just struggling to find space. Catalan, the more they play with that aggressive style, that aggressive brand of rugby, the more it seems to just poke Wigan and wind them up, and then that just makes them defend even better.
And I think there's an element of fatigue. They've spent a large portion of the match with players missing. They've been under pressure. If we think about the back end of the first half, they were constantly on their own line, and they look fatigued, and the battle of the energy has gone in Wigan's favour with some smart decisions both with and without the ball.
Ball! Hands out, Vincent!
Halfway line as Wigan get to play 4. Smith just drops the ball off to Sean O'Loughlin. Just really do the basics at the moment, or just barges Henderson out of the way. Matty Smith tries something different and gets a penalty.
Obstruction.
Yes.
Obstruction on Matty Smith. And now there's a penalty for Backchat. A further 10 metres.
Dear, oh dear. Well, the wheels have fallen. I don't think there are any wheels left on the wagon of the Catalan Dragons.
And if they are, they're square. You can see that Olivier Elmer is cut straight across Matty Smith, takes him out. 20 metres they've given up here.
You do wonder what on earth is going on out there, and you wonder
Jason!
why Laurent Fresneau has not got the message out.
Wait!
Calm down. They've just completely lost it in this second. Almost since the second half kicked off, they have been literally out of control like a runaway truck, the Catalan Dragons, with no brakes. They've just completely gone berserk. And they're going to concede more points here. There's still 23 minutes left. I mean, this could get very, very ugly. I mean, Wigan could take him to the cleaners here. We're looking at Farrell. Finds Smith. Smith just drops off a simple pass as they look to set up field position. There's Tony Clubb, who started it all off, and that was way in the 12th minute. That'll be knocked dead, and that'll be a goal line dropout.
Hey, that was smart and all. George Williams knew that Morgan Escarret was tangled up in the play the ball area, picked the ball up from dummy half, kicked it into the in goal. He knew the very least he would get would be that goal line dropout. Let's have a look at here. Number 2, Morgan Escarret, all tangled up on the floor. George Williams, I'll just dink it in the in goal. Brilliant stuff. Well done, that young man.
They are now back to a full complement, the Catalan Dragons, but one can only speculate if they will actually see out the remaining 22 minutes with 13 players on the pitch, because they're running the risk. They're playing Russian roulette with the referee at the moment.
Well, it's not finished, has it?
No.
It's not finished, and Catalan, when they're defending their own line, this is where is that a shoulder charge? Again,
I think
Olivier Elmer.
What is the matter? You see, well, this is where you would look at it and you'd say,
can you abandon the game? Stuart, has that ever happened?
Well, it probably has happened.
Well, only if you go down to, I think it's 5 players, so you can't form a scrum.
There's a possibility. I'll tell you what, but don't you think, Terry, that the coach should be getting Elmer off the paddock? I mean, before the referee sends him off.
Yeah,
because this is lunacy.
You learn a lot about your players in situations like this. You learn who can handle the pressure.
But you made the point, Barry, that's an international captain.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's not good enough from him and a large portion of the Dragons team, full stop.
Both of those occasions, I've spoken to you about reacting, all right? You've then blocked a kicker, all right? I've spoken to you at the dropout.
James Child is laying down the law here to Elmer.
I am doing
to some
everything
tune.
I can to work with you.
Yeah.
You are not responding to me. If you don't respond, I'll sit you on the bench. All right? It's for a shoulder charge, okay? It's up to you. Up to you to respond. Work with him, mate.
Good referee.
Just work with him.
Yeah.
Good to hear that. I'm doing my best to work with you. You're totally ignoring me, and if you carry on like that, I'll send you to sit down. You can't argue with that.
He's given him enough rope to sort himself out, and he's told him if he doesn't, he's going to go. You can't be any clearer than that. It's now over to them.
Agree. Goodness me. But I'll tell you what.
There you go, that's his answer.
If I was the coach, I'd have the shepherd's crook out now and say, come and sit in the stand with me before you do any more damage, old son. Here comes Bowen looking to do some real damage on the scoreboard. Josh Charnley comes inside, and Leon Price makes a perfectly legitimate and legal tackle with the help of Vincent Dupont. Price left on the floor. That gives Wigan just a squeak of a chance. Gelling out the back door. Now you see it, now you don't pass.
Oh no! Come on!
Let's see if they can get through this set of 6 without gifting a penalty to Wigan.
Well, they could just concede a try. That will speed it up. And Gelling, well, he can't quite turn the body over the try line and get the ball down. They did well to stop him, to be fair, because Gelling is 6'5" with some long levers. Could have got the ball over the line. Bowen, who's been superb tonight, but this time juggles the football, and he may well have knocked it on, and he has. It cannoned into a defending player, and the knock-on is ruled by James Child.
Although he catches that ball, does the ball come forward and come off the back of a Catalan player, and then he regathers it? And then that's what must have happened, Stuart.
I think that's what James Child has ruled. He loses the ball there, and I think he's ruled that Oliver Elmer managed to touch the ball.
I think he wanted that ball, Matty Bowen, away from the line. He stood still, wanted a static pass to a static target, and he had to run onto it, and that put the
loose forwards, binding tight.
The uncertainty into him.
Head shaking from Matty Bowen, whether that was because he didn't agree with the decision, or perhaps more likely that he realised that a good attacking opportunity had disappeared. And the penalty count, incidentally, 11-4 to Wigan. Catalan Dragons over the years have dominated penalty counts on their own ground. We've heard a few Super League coaches making that point. I remember the Leeds coach Brian McDermott in an interview with you, Terry, going absolutely Garrity about it once. Do you remember?
Yes, I do. Saying about the crowd had an influence in what the referee was doing on the pitch. Well, I think the Catalan players have had the influence in this game.
Keep coming.
Yeah, I don't think they can argue at all about the yellow cards that were whipped out by James Charles, 2 of them during this second half, and the tries that were scored while the Dragons were short-handed, very much decisive, from 24-10 at half-time to the score you see now, 36-10.
Right, Rod, last quarter. What Catalan have got to do is get back to playing the game. Get back to what the strategy was at the start of the second half. I don't think for 1 minute that Laurent Fresinu went out and said to his players, I want you to go out and I want you to lose the plot. The messages will be coming down. There will be drip feeding onto the field, saying let's get back to what we set out to do.
Joe Burgess is injured now. He's in a lot of pain there, the young man.
Yeah, straight away, as soon as he goes into that collision, you can see he winces away. Williams, does he get his leg trapped underneath
him, is it?
Battieri underneath, he comes underneath, and then all of a sudden, you can see his ankle that gets trapped.
And I think that's an accident.
We've talked about foul play in that.
We've talked a lot about foul play. George Burgess, who's 6'4", 6'5", has big long leaders. Joe Burgess, in a world of pain, sat on the floor. I hope he can carry on and continue this game. Great player. Some of the injured Catalan players, Lupini Peya, Daryl Millard, I think Lupini Peya would have added.
Just push up, Elliot.
It's a sad sight for any player.
Well, he is at least walking off Barry, isn't he? But it's very gingerly, and they can do without more injuries. We've mentioned, all the Super League clubs this stage have got injuries, but Wigan particularly with McAlorum and Green, Flower, a lot of players are missing. They don't want any more.
Goulding.
Well, there's no point in taking a gamble now. 36 points to 10. The game has been played very aggressively, very physical. So there's no point in maybe carrying an injury and maybe making it worse.
Indeed. 36-10 Wigan, going back to third in the Super League tonight off the back of this win, which it surely will be, as Matty Smith directs the traffic. Bowen, Farrell now. And there's Jack Hughes off the interchange bench. Sargentson now slotting onto the left wing, with Burgess having leaped out of the fray. This is the final tackle. That appears to be too long initially, but it seems to be coming back on the breeze, and it's fumbled by Escaré, backwards probably, but picked up by Wigan.
I think he's right there, Henderson. I think he is tackled. Tony Clubb gets up, Morgan Escaré stays down. I think he's taken out here.
Well, the ball goes up, and is it Morgan Escaré that goes for him? Just watch Tony Clubb, he takes him out. That's what Leon Price is complaining to James Child about.
Well, he's tackled him without the ball,
isn't he?
Yeah, he's tackled him without the ball, and that will be the issue. I think we'll probably end up with a Catalan penalty here. Dear, dear. Well, this has been a brutal battle that has featured some really shocking incidents.
Whilst I agree with the non-decision, I agree with the protest, I don't agree with the way that Ian Henderson is shouting, and I wouldn't say it's out-and-out abuse, but that's a challenge from a player that's chasing a kick. He can't change direction, or he chooses not to, and he ends up, he clouts Morgan Escaré, but I'm not for 1 minute saying that Ian Henderson has the right then to get into the face.
I think the issue is by him taking him out, he can't actually chase the ball, so he's stopping the player, preventing the player from getting the ball.
Could he have pulled out, says the question. I'm not so sure. He was chasing very hard. Needless to say, or irrelevant, it's a penalty.
Well, there's been a brutal battle, as I say. It's been a barroom brawl of a match in the second half, and you mentioned about abandoning it, Terry. I expect there's some of James Charles thinking that he's thinking, I wish I could call this off, because
18 minutes, come on. Well, let it go quick. The Catalan fans were expecting Tony Club to be maybe sent to the sin bin.
Well, let's get it right. I mean, James Child is doing his job.
He is. Yes, he is.
It's a tough night, but he's doing the job. There's a lot of pressure coming from the side. He's holding up well to it. Yeah, he is. He's been very specific in what he's done. That didn't deserve a sin bin, and he kept him on the field. He wasn't affected by the crowd.
Yeah, good work, Stuart.
Well, we know that James Child has had some torrid nights in Super League this year, but tonight he has laid down the law in the right way. And he's doing everything he can, as he rightly said himself. I'm doing my best to work with you. And some of the players are refusing to be refereed tonight.
Offside.
That's going to be offside, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, it won't actually. I don't think it'll be offside. It's gone forward, yeah.
Well, Zeb Tyer's had a quiet game, as has Elliot Whitehead, apart from that try that he scored, but he offloaded that ball.
Well, he's judged that he was offside, actually.
He offloaded the ball. Elima.
Cheers, mate. Well done, mate. On the line, guys! On the line,
Yeah,
Leon.
he was in front of him and he's played the ball. Fair enough. Fair enough. And Wigan have taken it very quickly. Liam Farrell.
Move, Elliot! Hold. Wait.
Elliot Whitehead, well, he scored the try, Elliot Whitehead, in the 22nd minute of this contest, which put the Catalan Dragons in front. Since then, absolutely nothing from them in terms of point scoring, and Wigan have started to run riot. Aided and abetted by the indiscipline of the Dragons. Two players sin-binned at various points in the match, and Wigan have put them to the sword. There's Dom Crosby.
And you nearly saw another penalty. Jason Bateri, just a little bit late. They don't need that, the Dragons.
Liam Farrell to go through a very small gap. Elima, who has been at the heart of a lot of this indiscipline. Again, having a pop at the referee, who cocks a deafen as the kick comes in from Matty Smith, and Josh Charlie is trying to wrestle the ball away. And it will be the turnover.
The referee does what?
Just ignored him. Just ignored him.
Just wait.
Which is probably the best thing to do. As we reach the final 15 minutes of this game, Wigan, incidentally, ensuring these 36 points, have gone back to the point-scoring lead. In terms of Super League, Castleford Tigers went in front of them last night in terms of points scored with that high-scoring victory over the Huddersfield Giants.
What will happen when Oliver Elima touches this ball?
Incorrect play of the ball.
We won't get a chance to see.
Well, interference from James Charles. Sorry, Barry.
We might see it here. Oliver Elima, he's not making himself very popular at all with the Wigan players. He's getting under the skin of everybody. Well, watch for the next time he carries it forward.
Win tonight in the northwest of England for Salford over Hull FC, and it seems in the southwest of France it will be a win for the Wigan Warriors. Already victorious this weekend. Wakefield, Castleford, Leeds and Saints. Warrington play London tomorrow. Escarret picks up a loose pass that was on the floor, and he manages to get away from a couple of tackles. Pomeroy goes straight through the middle, offloads to Elima. Elima goes rampaging through. He's being wrestled down by Crosby. Elima was trying to get his right paw free to get the ball away. Well, that must be, it must be a penalty, and it might be a yellow card and all. Well, Olivier on this occasion is entitled to be somewhat brassed off with that.
Is he entitled to wave his arms like that, though, and hit Don Crosby in the face?
No,
well,
he's
probably not, but he's entitled to be somewhat infuriated.
I never thought I'd say it, Rod, but I think I agree with you. I think he needs a rest and a sit down and a think about what...
Henderson offloads, must be a try. No, Jeff Lima couldn't get there. He seemed to be a certain scorer. All he had to do was lumber forward and drop the ball on the ground.
Well, this game's gone for Catalan, but there seems to be a panic about the way that they've played in this second half.
They seemed certain to score there on two occasions. First Henderson and then Jeff Lima. They could, on neither occasion, get the ball grounded over the try line. Oh, there's a lot of messing around going on in there. It's very, very difficult to referee this game as Price flings it inside.
Lima's off.
Henderson, standing start, offloads, another offload, picked up by Williams. Williams, that's batted down by Smith. It will be another set.
First one,
There'll be scrum first knock-on was by Wigan. I think it was Matty Smith, and then Zeb Taylor. He knocks the ball on.
Well, that might calm things down. Oliver Lima has just been taken off the field. Jerome Guisset brought him off. Offloading Sam Williams, who's had a very average afternoon. Passes the ball to Zeb Taylor, who fumbles it.
Just wait, Leon. Lock in, Matty.
Not a great day for the Dragons, but
Heads in, Matty.
you have to give compliments to everybody in the Wigan shirts. They have handled everything that's been thrown at them.
Well, it's been a professional performance from Wigan. Very difficult. We've made the point that the Catalan won 8 on the trot at home before this night. Wigan have gone there in difficult circumstances, shorn of some of their superstars, and had all sorts thrown at the start of the second half, but have stood up to that and are going to go away with a comprehensive win. I think it's been an excellent night that Sean Wayne can be very proud of.
100%, I agree with you. Both sides, incidentally, used a total of 32 players this season. They both had their injury troubles, but it seems like Wigan are going through the mill.
Escaré prods one forward, and the flying Charnley, this time on defensive duty, just bats it away. Safety first from the England winger.
Well, Morgan Escaré just tries a nice little kick behind the line for Vince DePaul, but Josh Charnley was aware of the danger, he was aware of the threat. And I agree with you both. I think it's been a professional performance from Wigan. It's easy, Rod, to get sucked in to what the opposition are doing. But as I said earlier, you can't forget how to play rugby. You've still got to complete your set to 6. You've got to get up the other end. You've got to try and pause some points. If you do that, you'll just frustrate the opposition even more.
Good grief, Jeff Lima there just went in like a bowling ball into some skittles. Henderson at dummy half. Williams has been, well, playing behind a pack that have been going backwards, but has looked fairly ineffective tonight. Hasn't been able to get things going at all.
Looked like he dropped that ball, but Terry. Greg Burke, he's on the pitch for Wigan now. Just over 10 minutes to go, and the young front row forward will get a taste of this atmosphere.
Oh, Tyre with the audacious offload picked up by Charnley, and that could spell danger because he could cut loose from anywhere. He can't this time. He's taken down by 3 Catalan Dragons. Just for a minute, there was a glimmer of a gap for Charnley, and if you'd given him a metre, he'd have gone the full length.
Well, he was caught in 2 minds. Does he go infield, or does he try and take the Catalan player on the outside? And just that little split second, thinking about what he was going to do, there was a little fumble which let the Catalan players get back and stop that threat. Here we go. Williams from dummy half, looking to offload the ball, still going.
Oh, he is still going, and the dancing feet of George Williams eventually stopped by Leon Price for the Dragons. Sam Powell to Smith. Crosby in the 17 jersey. Lima, the former Wigan Warrior. Very successful spell. 2 or 3 years back with the Warriors before going back down under to play for South. Oh, Matty Smith.
1-pointer.
Prodding over the 1-pointer. No. Flicked off a Catalan hand. It'll be a dropout underneath the posts.
The eagle eyes of James Child is going to check with the video referee.
He's going to check for the drop goal. Did it go through?
If it goes through, it's still a goal.
It did go through, didn't it?
Looks like it goes through, yeah.
Well, great game management from Matty Smith. Nobody expected it, not with a scoreline like that. Just keeps the clock ticking. Just takes the fizzle out of the game. Any resistance that Catalan was starting to put up. He's a good half-back, Matty Smith.
There it is. Drifting towards the right-hand upright as we look.
And clearly goes inside. Clearly goes inside. And just to point out as well, even though the ball was touched by Catalan, the drop goal still counts.
Well, this set of 6, what should be going through Wigan's mind is just some low-risk plays. Whether it's 5 drives, kick to the corner, try and put the pressure on Catalan up their end of the field. Let's see how they like it.
I wonder if in the next 9 minutes and 40 seconds we get to test Stuart's encyclopedic knowledge of more minutiae of the laws.
Give it your best shot.
Like accidentally blowing your whistle.
That's the best one.
Go 3.
Well, Wigan were delighted to hear the whistle blown by James Child there for another 1 point to the tally. 37-10 to the Warriors. Matty Smith knocking over the drop goal just to stretch away a little more. Comprehensive second half. 13-0 the score in the second half, and Smith is now taking the sting out of this match at every opportunity and marshalling his troops like the top half-back he is, as we mentioned before, man of the match in the Challenge Cup final before, and certainly a leading exponent in the grand final alongside Blake Green, who was the man of the match in that final as well. He's really marshalling his troops very competently.
Yes, he is, and that's the sort of set of six that Sean Wayne would have been looking for. Complete kick to the corner, just defend, get back into the swing, back into the rhythm of the game.
All the way, hold.
He lost it. Interference, another penalty.
Just release, mate.
I think also we've seen tonight the experience of Sean Wayne as opposed to the inexperience of Laurent Fresneau. You know, Fresneau, we shouldn't forget, is still a rookie as a coach, isn't he? You know, and Wayne is well, one of my favourite phrases at the moment. Is a gnarled veteran of the coaching ranks, and they've missed touch with the penalty as well.
Well, that doesn't help, does it? But you talk about Laurent Fresneau and Sean Wayne. Sean Wayne's I'm sure he'd like to play the game physically. I'm sure that any challenge that Catalan laid down, I said we don't be backing down, but I'm not sure Laurent Fresneau will be saying go out there, lose your heads, give penalties away, put us on the back foot, and I'm sure we can handle it.
No, he's entitled to expect more from his senior professionals, many of whom lost their heads.
Hold, wait.
And sometimes you know what you get with certain players in your team, in your competition. Players will lose their heads, but it's how they cope with that, how other players around them cope with that.
Discipline, Zeb.
John Bateman plays the ball. Matty Smith involved. Crosby has enjoyed carting the ball up this evening.
Jeff. Come on. Don't hold him in. Go.
Final tackle then. Not enough room for a drop goal, is there, for Matty Smith? Instead, he puts that high into the night sky, and the acrobatic Escarret claims the ball before the tackle comes in.
Well taken, and Greg Byrne not committing to that tackle. He let Morgan Escarret find his feet, the offload from Elliot Whiter, but he let him find the ground before he effected that tackle.
Hold on, just wait, mate.
So good work from Greg Burke.
Go.
Well, the top of the table at close of business tonight will show St Helens on 30, the Rhinos on 29, Castleford and Wigan on 28, and Warrington with a game in hand on 26.
I can't remember the Super League been this close since it started in '96 for the top 8, for the top spot.
Well, that's because it never has been, Terry.
Yes.
It is the closest race for the league leaders' shield, and the top 4 places now. Zeb Tyre says, "Come with me, man! Come with me!" There's a try on it.
Is it the wrong man? Is it the wrong man?
What on earth happened there?
He didn't want that, Jason Viteri.
He didn't. Escarret did, and Escarret, I'm sure, would have scored. They might score anyway, and it might be Tyre.
Turnover, guys.
And it's the turnover.
Okay, Zeb, let go, mate.
It's the turnover right on the try line.
You saw from Matty Boyne's reaction, he patted everybody on the back. Good defence, boys. Even when the line was broken, the Wigan shirts got back in numbers. And you're right, Jason Viteri didn't want that ball. Looked too tired, too fatigued to do anything with it.
Yeah, had he hit Escarret, it was a certain try for the fullback.
This is a very good defensive display by Wigan.
Come on,
very good defensive display. In the games that Catalan have played at home, I said in the first half, they've scored an average of 32 points. So just to score 10 points shows how well that Wigan have played.
Well, Terry, just to underline your point, the last points for the Catalan was their second try from Whitehead, and obviously the kick from it on 22 minutes. So that's 52 minutes ago, 52 pointless minutes, quite literally, for the Catalan Dragons.
And then there was half-time, and then there was that 6-minute spell in the opening 6 minutes of that second half.
Cardas was almost involved in a Laurel and Hardy moment there with Escarret. You could see them running into each other, then the ball spilling free, but he somehow got the brakes on. Charnley goes to ground again. I'll tell you what, full credit to Josh Charnley, because he would have been entitled to sit the rest of the night out after that nasty tackle from Dupont, which saw him leave the field with injury, and well, looked like it could be a serious neck injury at one point, but he's come back.
Well, it's good to see him back on the pitch, and I will guarantee there'll be some sore bodies from both sides. Whether it's the Wigan players flying back home, or whether it's the Catalan players doing the rehab tomorrow morning.
Ooh la la, as Pettibone went in there. It was a monstrous tackle.
And to be fair, I think that was a shoulder charge. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
Louis Anderson bounced back up like a rubber ball. This is the last tackle, and Sam Williams hoists it very, very high. That's a monstrous kick, and it's wonderfully taken over his shoulder by Matt Bowen. That's the most difficult of catches, when it's coming over your shoulder. Oh, and he's knocked it on.
Knock on.
Oh, no.
Pelissier is back on the
shame really.
the pitch, making himself a nuisance.
Well, he catches that ball, and as you quite rightly said, well, very difficult to take. And then all of a sudden he goes into contact, he does everything right, and then he loses the ball. Pelissier right underneath the ball, puts his shoulder in.
3 minutes, come on, let's get through the 3 minutes.
Does he look like Father Christmas, Pelissier, or is it me?
Well, I wouldn't like him coming down my chimney, to be fair. It scared me.
Heads in tight, Matty.
Pelissier will lock the scrum here. Well, they haven't actually got 6 in the scrum here.
This is a nonsense, this. It's just any 6 players in the scrum,
Well,
isn't
it is. Well, any 5 it was briefly there.
Escare's
got it free. They are going to score. They are going to score, Damien Cardas.
And that's what they can do. That's what they can do from a scrum. Score a try, and you can just see that they've got numbers. The movement from Catalan, you can never fault what they do with the ball. Sometimes they get a bit carried away, but playing rugby is what Catalan are all about. That flair that they have. And it's a good try from Cardas. Unfortunately, not enough play like this during the 80 minutes.
Well, the game has been decided by the final few minutes of the first half, during which Wigan scored twice, and the first few minutes of the second half, during which Catalan had 2 sin bin and conceded 2 tries.
I've heard you use a phrase about there was a fight just after half-time, and occasionally a game of rugby broke out.
Yes,
I think that's what we can deduce from them 20 minutes of madness. But it was like MMA at one point, with different battles and fights and scuffles going all over the place.
Well, Sam Williams, as you see, has 1 successful goal to his name this evening. If he kicks this, it'll be 16-37 with a couple of minutes left. And he has kicked it. Well, they've lost by, well, they're losing by 21 points. But those periods we talked about, back end of the first half and start the second half, they lost those periods 24-0. And therein is the fact. That's where they've lost the game.
Yeah, Lauren Fresinu won't take too much from this game at all, other than, you know, he'll look at what's going to happen when everything completely goes wrong, when we totally come away from the systems and structures that they use to defend. They've just been, I dare say, with their own agenda, trying to solve everything themselves, instead of that unity and that togetherness and that spirit that they've had at home. And they've only been broken once, and that was by Leeds near the beginning of the season.
In February. Catalan will stay on 21 competition points, and they will stay in 7th spot on the Super League. That gives them 3 points worth of breathing space on Hull Kingston Rovers, who are 9th. So they're still in the playoff places, but they're going to be under some pressure, you would think, perhaps from the Salford Red Devils, who've won again tonight, to move up to 15.
I thought Elliot Whitehead and Liam Fowler were just going to get into a bit then.
Pomeroy, well, he was looking to, ball steal penalty, so they might get one last chance here to post some points, the Catalan Dragons. Clock ticks round towards the final minute of this match in the south of France.
Well, Wigan themselves giving a couple of penalties away in the final 15 minutes of this game.
Matty Bowen, 2 tries tonight for the fullback, outstanding, particularly in the first half. Charnley has added to his try tally as well, and so has Burgess. That's knocked on by Pomeroy. And, well, they might just about have time to pack the scrum and maybe run a couple of plays here, Wigan, before they can put the game and the result in the ledger. Sean O'Loughlin sitting out the final few minutes, the Wigan captain, and when all is said and done and the match is in the history book, Sean Wayne's side will have won for the 14th time in Super League 19, and will move to within 2 points of their great rivals St Helens at the top of the table.
Will it be the last couple of plays, last couple of opportunities for Wigan to score?
Okay, let's set up,
Look at this, Stuart. It's almost as if the players have accepted the situation. They just want to run the clock out. What is going on with these scrums?
Well, they do. I mean, you could put a scrum down if you want to, but would you if you were James Charles?
No. Anyway, there we go. That's the full-time siren. Wigan have won comprehensively, 37 points to 16.
Well, what a
Second half that was. Catalan Dragons completely losing the plot, losing the game. 37 points to 16. The Warriors winning. Magnificent performance from the Warriors in the face of that intimidatory performance from the Dragons. And a word for the referee, James Child, as well, in the face of all that.
Yeah, he did a good job, and Wigan got over the line, but look how flat they are here. It was funny when there's two players in the sin bin for the Catalan. Wigan went very flat themselves. It was sort of like, we're going to run harder than you straight through. Beautiful offload from Gelling. They did do the job, and they just did enough. Both these tries as well, as you can see, it was a very scrappy game from that point on once the sin bins were there, and Sargent just dunks it out. Burgess races away and scores. So there's two tries from Wigan. Both those tries occurred in the second half, while Catalan had two men in the sin bin. If Catalan could have held some rhythm and got some field position like they did here, and maybe been able to score a few more tries like that, but that wasn't the case.
No, maybe if they'd concentrated on the creative side instead of the enforcing side, it might have been a more productive night. Let's have a look at the results so far in round 20. Wakefield at 12, Widnes 10 on Thursday. The Wildcats on a roll. On Friday then, big wins for Castleford over Huddersfield, Leeds over Hull KR, and Saints over the Bradford Bulls. And another Saturday game, one other result on Saturday. Salford back-to-back wins for the Red Devils. 35-22, they have beaten Hull FC. One game to come, of course. On Sunday, Warrington Wolves will play the London Broncos. This is how the table looks. Saints stay on top and Leeds in second. Wigan, on the back of that victory over the Catalan Dragons, are up to third. Catalan stay seventh, but a real bunch there battling for those 7th and 8th places. Hull KR, Wakefield, Hull FC, Salford now in contention possibly for 8th, maybe even 7th place. But, Tony, Catalan Dragons, after all they've achieved in the last few weeks, 8 unbeaten at home, they've let themselves down tonight, haven't they? They're going to end up with Dupont, Muniz, Garcia possibly on report or, in front of the disciplinary.
Yeah, and Bill, from the off, they just didn't look like they could concentrate right from word goes. A really untidy start to the game. We saw a scrum early in the game. We saw Tony Clubb just ruffle up Jeff Lima a bit, and it was almost push and shove from that moment on, and Catalan were totally distracted. And the scoreboard told the flow, as it went through. It was towards the back end of the first half where Wigan had just had enough control that they raced some tries in. That was the key bit, the bit leading into half-time, because Wigan dominated and broke Catalan a bit. They come out frustrated. They showed some intent, but it was all the wrong sort of intent.
Was it frustration in actual fact on the part of the Dragons, who maybe, because they've been on this great run, they saw this Wigan side missing some key players, thought maybe that this was going to continue? Let's
just question the great run. We go back to they close with Leeds.
They beat St Helens 42-0.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago they're dominant. Since then, they haven't been great on performances. Didn't look comfortable in their own skin. I just didn't think that they were just doing the basics well. They weren't playing well as a group. They were probably just going out there trying to find the win rather than get in and earn and run hard and big, powerful pack and good playmakers. They didn't do that.
Well, it's taken the limelight off the Wigan Warriors, because this is a great performance in view of what the Dragons have done in recent weeks. To go there and come off with the result like this in the face of those Catalan tactics, it's a great result for Wigan.
Fantastic, fantastic. And I thought this season they're showing that. We talk about comfort in their own skin as I often do about teams. I thought Wigan did look that. They looked like they knew what to do. They knew how to grind it out. Matty Bowen stood up each time they've had to do some. Had to get the senior blokes with a young team there to play well. Matty Bowen's done that. Matty Smith's done. He sneaks along behind that team. We often underestimate what he does, but they've been really good there, Wigan, to get that result.
Yep, Wigan Warriors have won that one 37-10. Coming up on Sky Sports tonight, still to come, Fight Night live now on Sky Sports 1. And on Sky Sports 2, England against India highlights a cracking day in the first test. Day 4 from Trent Bridge, that's on Sky Sports 2. And there's PGA Tour Golf, the John Deere Classic, Day 3 now on Sky Sports 4. And Super League coming up next week on Thursday. Leeds against Castleford, 7:30, Sky Sports 1. Widnes Vikings against the Warrington Wolves, 7:30 on Sky Sports 1 on Friday. And let's hope they've calmed down by next Saturday, because the Catalan Dragons face the Wakefield Trinity Wildcats, 4:55 on Sky Sports 1. But from our commentary team, from Tony and myself, thanks for being with us. You can take the seatbelt off now. Good night.